Meanwhile, the Global Times is wading into these tensions in the South China Sea with today's newspaper spread. You can see it here, and the article includes views from Filipino analysts and ordinary people to support its argument against growing U.S. influence and military presence in the Philippines. And basically, you can see it in the big text there, quote, "Stop meddling." Now, Philippine government actions are causing unease among its ASEAN neighbors as well. The paper is also critical of the U.S.-Japan-Philippines alliance ahead of their leaders' summit in Washington. It says that behind their pursuit of cooperation, peace and security is a, quote, undercurrent of confrontation, danger, and conflict. Some harsh words there, Dave.
Yeah, ahead of that Trilat summit, which I believe is scheduled for 4 p.m. Eastern Time Thursday. So that takes place early morning Friday, if my math and my brain is still working. Let's bring in our Manila Bureau Chief, Manny Serapio. He's with us right now to talk us through. Manny, let's start with just the general expectations that you guys, particularly the view in Manila, ahead of this meeting in Washington.
I think the tensions with China would be at the center of this first ever trilateral summit between the Philippines, U.S. and Japan. And as President Marcos said yesterday before he flew out of Manila, he said that he expects there to be an agreement on keeping the peace and stability and freedom of navigation in the South China Sea. And obviously these comments are coming shortly because of the recent clashes between Philippines and Chinese ships in the disputed waters, which obviously because of the videos that we've seen show that Chinese ships have been deploying water cannons on Philippine boats.
So what does this then mean for, I think, the Philippines in terms of their assertions in the South China Sea? In other words, what does President Bongbong Marcos then hopefully come home with as far as that initiative or that exercise is concerned, Ben?
Firstly, I think it strengthens the partnerships that President Marcos is trying to build with its allies and like-minded nations to strengthen its posture in the South China Sea. And it aligns with the goal of the U.S. and China, which is keeping peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. And Marcos has been trying to rally allies. It's obviously its long-term ally, the U.S., but besides the U.S., there's also Japan, Australia, the U.K., in terms of for the world to recognize the rules-based order in the South China Sea. As you know, there are other claimants to the South China Sea in terms of the structures there, but China has not really recognized these claims and continues to make sweeping claims in this very vital waterway.
And Manny, just a final question. Apart from security of the seas, do we expect any other areas of cooperation between the three nations, of course, in this meeting coming up?
I think that there should be agreement and discussions in terms of boosting economic ties between them, in terms of critical infrastructure, in semiconductors, in renewable energy, and critical minerals, because the Philippines has been trying to partner with countries, with companies to boost processing of its resources, mainly nickel.